Please state your full name and title.
Okay, Paula Perotte, Mayor for the City of Goleta.
Why are you running for office?
Well, my family and I have lived in Goleta for over 40 years. We've lived and worked here. I've been on the City Council since 2010, so 14 years, and then in 2018 I was elected mayor. And anybody that knows me knows I just love Goleta. I want to maintain the character of Goleta, that small town feel, that why people want to come here and live here. So we have a lot of things that we still would like to accomplish, and we have a great council right now. We're getting a lot of things done. I looked at a list just last night of all the accomplishments, and I was amazed at how much we've done. So I would like to continue if the residents will have me.
What does Goleta mean to you?
Goleta means family, community, engagement, caring, businesses, high-tech businesses, a diverse population. And public engagement is pretty critical to me.
What makes you qualified to be mayor?
Okay, well, 14 years of being on the council and living here for a long time. But I think mostly it's people know me. They know that I care deeply about the character, but preserving the character by, yes, housing is needed, but they know that I'm an advocate for the right housing at the right time. They know I'm all about public safety and environmental issues that come up and all the things that we've done environmentally for the city. So I think my track record of accomplishments have qualifies me to continue.
What are the major issues that impact Goleta residents?
Okay, major issues that impact Goleta residents. I think for me it would be, of course, keeping everybody healthy and safe. We've gone through a hard time with the pandemic. We also have natural disasters like wildfires, flooding, and I think it's really important that our community knows that we want to keep them as safe as possible. We've invested a lot of time and money and communication with our sheriff's department. In fact, you sat in on one of our meetings yesterday, and they're critical to our safety. And so, that's one concern, making sure that we do everything to keep everybody safe. The other one is, our community has a lot of priorities. Our residents and businesses have priorities. And so making sure that we're fiscally responsible, and, we're doing well. We're not in debt. We're not in a deficit, but we have priorities, and so does the community. Plane going over. And the priorities are going to be a little bit tricky and difficult with what we have with the county, the revenue neutrality agreement, where 50% of our revenue from housing, from property tax, and 30% sales tax goes to the county in perpetuity. So so we're going to have to figure out a way to maybe look at that in the future, because that would help a lot with the priorities. That there's so many that I could list that we would still like to accomplish. We've done a lot, but so I see that as problematic. And then making sure that our environment stays. The climate change, we're really involved with solar energy, and we've done, the 100% renewable of all our city buildings by 2035, and we're getting there. As you can see, there's a lot of solar here at the city, and we also need battery storage as well. So those are the things that are important.
How do you plan to address the impact of inflation on Goleta residents?
I thought about that question because I saw the question, and I'm glad you asked it, first of all, because it made me stop and think, what can we do? We can't do anything about inflation. I understand how people are suffering when they get their paychecks. I understand what's going on, but we're not responsible for doing anything about inflation. However, we have done a lot of things that we made sure are free to the community so that they can recreate for free, whether it be our beach, our parks that we've just upgraded, our bike paths. Also, it made me stop and think about our city grant program. So we have a city grant program that goes out to nonprofits that come in, and once a year we review them, and each year we get more and more applications. But we contribute to nonprofits that we know we can't do anything. Childcare, diapers. I didn't realize how expensive diapers were until my daughter had a baby. So we're trying to fund things, music, kids programs, wherever we see a need in the community, we try really hard to. So we're doing all those things to help towards inflation.
If re-elected, how do you plan to improve life in Goleta?
Improve life? You know, the one thing that's really important to this council and myself is public engagement. We have academy that our folks come to once a week for 6 weeks, and they learn about the inner sanctum of the city hall, and they realize it's a really fun place to be. It's not a scary place, and they learn a lot, and in fact that hopefully encourages them to then run for a city council. But what we're seeing now is they're running for a lot of boards and commissions. So they're feeling like we know what's going on, we're ready to do that. We also have our Spanish interpretation at all meetings now, which I think is huge. We've 3 meetings now into it, and the word's getting out. All our literature has been translated. So we have a wonderful, diverse community, and we want to make sure that everybody's engaged. And so public engagement is it's critical. It really is.
How will you address the housing crisis in Goleta?
Well, we know there's a housing imbalance, and we know that housing is too expensive and rents are too high. So when we do see a development project, we hope to be able to have the control to really negotiate with the developers for a more affordable, without having to change that character of Goleta. Oftentimes developer will say it doesn't pencil out. We have to go bigger, wider, higher. We're hoping that we can maximize the impact to minimize the impacts to our character by working with the developers, but maximize the amount of affordables that are so needed, and working with the university so that they get moving on their housing that they've promised, and you know, hopefully for their students. And I think they're moving in that direction, and students and faculty and staff, because we have a 0 vacancy rate right now. So that means you can charge as much as you want, pretty much.
What do you believe the major crime issues are in Goleta, and how do you plan to address them?
You know, we get once a month, it's about a month behind, and really our crime, it's a report from the sheriffs on all the crimes that are happening in Goleta, and it's relatively, it's a very low rate of crime. There really isn't as much as, it's not anything more than other communities, or, but I would say less. And I think just having a strong police presence, and you know, having enough of our motors and enough of our patrol cars and funding them adequately. You know, I'm not seeing a real rise in it's not any one particular area or one particular thing.
What do you hope to accomplish in 2025 if elected in November?
Well, my leadership style is to look at the challenges head on, and then also focus on the opportunities. There's always going to be opportunities. So we're on quite. We've done so many things for Old Town, especially. We've done parks. Splash pad is coming really soon. Too bad it wasn't here this last weekend. It was so hot. Splash pad, community gardens. We've retrofitted for earthquake the community center, so it's up and running now. We're trying to do a lot of events there. What else? Oh, striping, lights, blinking, flashing, activated lights for pedestrians, sidewalks for on one side of all residential streets in Old Town. Mothers were with their babies in the middle of the street, and it was just, and those streets are narrow. So we're trying to do, I'm sure there's a lot more, and I'm just forgetting it right now, but there's a lot going on, and I would like to continue down that path of making it better. But more importantly, it's working collaboratively with the community and the businesses, hearing from them, and also working regionally. I think we'll get a lot done, and we have seen it with our homeless forums. We're getting a lot done because we are working regionally with our partners. What they do on our borders affects us, so we need to be working regionally.
What actions will you take to address the political divide in Goleta?
I thought about that one too. Well, first of all, you want to have civil discussions and debates. So my hope is that we can continue to have them, continue to. I'm very open and non-judgmental, and I'm a good listener. So I hope that we can continue these discussions when a divide comes up, a problem, and talk it through, work it out. But ultimately, we're going to need to come together to move forward. So we look for consensus with the community and, of course, the City Council.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you that you would like to address?
Oh, I don't know. I'm thank you for, I still, after all these years, I get a little nervous in front of a camera, but I thank you for this opportunity to interview me, and I hope I stay in office.
Thank you. Old Town Goleta has been an issue of controversy in the community for different reasons. Mm-hmm. What is your take on Old Town Goleta moving forward?
Are you talking mainly about the striping project? Well, if you get a chance, anybody gets to read, Robert Bernstein did an article in Ed Hat, and it really laid out 30 years of working on a project such as this in Old Town, and it finally happened. The issue is that we were ready to do it before the pandemic. Everything's set to go. Pandemic, everything stopped. And then when the pandemic was over, a couple council members felt strongly we needed to reopen the discussion. And we did, so that held us up even longer, workshops, public engagement. And then when we said, okay, we're ready to go, we found out it was way more expensive than what we had said several years before. So we did what we needed to do, is kind of combined it with Project Connect, which is the roundabouts, Echo Fowler, and it made the price lowered because it was all in one package. However, the problem is that right now is I think a lot of the traffic, I'm not an engineer, but I think a lot of the traffic that we're seeing gets bottlenecked more towards the east end by the roundabout construction. I think people, we did it with the hope of encouraging more parking, encouraging more people to stay for 90 minutes and then move their cars so that businesses can have customers come in, because that area was known for just leaving your car there for days. And so, we wanted more parking, we wanted to help the businesses, and we understand that probably the businesses are hurting right now, and we're going to do everything we can to help in any way we can. But I'm saying be patient. Let's all take a breath. Let's be patient. And I know people are coming to us and showing us things that we need to maybe look at differently, and we are. So we're open to hearing if there's ideas about how we could, but right now we're leaving the project as is, and just work through the bumps in the road.